Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, November 26th, 2024 regular closed session meeting of the East Bay Mud Board of Directors. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Director Chan,
Present.
Director Katz,
Present.
Director Lenny,
Here.
Director Patterson,
Present.
Director Young,
Here.
President McIntosh.
Here. Madam Secretary, do we have any speakers for public comment, whether online or in the audience?
No speakers online or in the audience.
All right, then. We will now convene to conference room 8 to discuss closed session agenda item number 1, and we're scheduled to return here for the regular meeting at 1:15. Thanks. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, November 26, 2024 regular business meeting of the East Bay Mud Board of Directors. We will receive reports from this morning's Finance Committee meeting and infrastructure workshop under item 13. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Director Chan,
Present.
Director Katz,
Present.
Director Lenny,
Here.
Director Patterson is en route, Director Young,
Here.
President McIntosh,
Here.
and Director Patterson just entered the room.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll turn it over to our general manager for the presentation.
Thank you, President McIntosh. For the 19th consecutive year, the district has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association for its annual comprehensive financial report. The report is evaluated by an impartial panel of judges to ensure it meets the high standards of the program, which includes demonstrating the spirit of transparency and full disclosure of to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by government and its management. The core team in the room today responsible for the final production of the report includes the following employees: Yenny Coburn, Accountant 3, Winston Shea, Accounting System Supervisor, and Johnny Wong, Accountant 1. These individuals demonstrate teamwork and integrity in financial reporting, which exemplifies the values of East Bay Mud. In addition to the core team, various staff throughout the district provided critical information to ensure a clean audit and award-winning report. And presenting the award is Director Katz, who is the chair of the Finance Committee.
Thank you for all of your service to the district. We're very proud of you. All right, Madam Secretary. Let's see, there are no announcements from closed session. Public comment. Do we have any online or in the building?
No public comment online or in person.
All right, then we will now move to the consent calendar to consider items 1 through 11. Are there any comments from the public on consent calendar items? Hearing none, seeing none. Do board members wish to pull any items from the consent calendar?
Number 11.
Number 11.
Move items 1 through 10.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for consent calendar items 1 through 10. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, That moves unanimously. Item number 11.
Yeah, question, just a couple questions for clarification. So the version that is in our present that we're voting on today, that's the same as the last version we saw, right? Have there been any changes?
The version that you're voting on is the same as the last version.
Except for the appendix.
Except for the appendix, and then it incorporated just the direct comments that you made at the meeting.
And then also, I was just wondering, when are we going to vote on the ordinance, the ethics ordinance, and also the second one, the whistleblower? Because I noticed it wasn't part of that.
That will be next year. What we had shared with the board is that's going to go through the normal review process, and then we'll bring the policies for the full board to review next year and approve.
Okay, and General Counsel, can you tell me one more time what changes were made with from the last iteration to this one, besides the appendix?
For the, so last time there were comments on whether or not, and let me go to that item, but the various, we had sidelined the various items that we brought to the board's attention, and I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me, but that was,
I can get it for you, Derek.
yeah, I'll have to pull out my Word version. But those mostly included the up or down votes on whether or not to include language such as adding fiscal responsibility to my job duties, the role of the board in relation to staff, and coordinating with the general manager before site visits or meeting with staff. So it was just mostly those 5 points. The board gave an up or down vote, and so based on the board's vote, those were either added or not.
Okay, got it.
So the language is the language you've already seen, and that has not been changed.
Got it, thank you.
Do you have a motion, April?
Nope.
Second.
We've got a motion from Vice President Patterson and a second by Director Katz.
Do we need a voice vote here? Okay.
All right. Do we need a roll call or just voice?
It's your call. You can do a voice vote. Everybody's here.
All right, do you want to abstain? What's your deal?
I'll vote no.
Okay, so why don't we do an individual voice vote?
Okay.
Before we vote, I just would like to thank my board colleagues for the hard work on this. Even though we put this together, inspired by our observations at the retreat, over a year ago, and then understood that we wanted to leave a legacy for future board members to be able to have a greater reference, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I wouldn't say that it covers absolutely every detail about how to do this job, much of which is a public official job that is subject to the discretion of an individual serving in many respects, but this puts a lot of information out there for the public and for directors serving, and for again, for the public to be able to appreciate what the board is doing and how we govern ourselves. With so much change happening on this board, I think this provides a very helpful resource to have stability at the district. So I'm very appreciative of the work that General Counsel's office put in, and other supporting staff, including at the Secretary's office, and for all the work that we did in doing several readings of this work.
I agree, and thank you, Director Katz, for reminding me to thank everybody, because I really do appreciate the hard work and the initiative. I really tried to get on the same page as everyone, and I think I tried pretty hard, and I think everyone really tried hard, but it just didn't happen, so. But anyway, I'm thankful. I think that there's many aspects of this book that's going to be useful to the new directors.
Marguerite?
Yeah, I just want to briefly say, I think this is something that will be a very important guide for board governance, and a way for our existing board to capture and pass on those practices that have worked for this agency and provide the public with transparency and understanding of how we operate. And recognizes, of course, that like all things, the future board will have the opportunity to, sort of drive the bus and make changes, as needed, as we do with all of our policies and procedures. And so I'm very happy that we did this, and I recognize that most cities and agencies don't have a governance manual. That was surprising to me. I figured when we did it that we'd have lots of others to draw upon, but apparently there are not too many of them in existence. So I think, once again, we're, I hope, setting a precedent that others will follow, and that it helps our new board and our existing board sort of hit the ground in the new construct running. So I'm happy to support this.
I agree. Thank you, staff, for putting so much effort into this document, and I appreciate it. I mean, it's something that I wish I had when I joined this board, those many years ago. So I thank you. I thank you for my colleagues for their input on this document, because there was a lot of opportunity to have your input being taken into consideration. So I appreciate that as well. And there's a final document that is always available for amendment in the future. So with that, let's have a voice vote.
Roll call vote. Director Chan?
No.
Director Katz?
Yes.
Director Lenny? Yes. Director Patterson?
Yes.
Director Young?
Yes.
President McIntosh?
Yes. All right, thank you.
Can I just make one observation that there is a signature page in the manual, the final manual? It is not in the documents, it's not signed, but I will be requesting that I be able to auto-sign the document on your behalf. And just, the final document will have signatures.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, we now move to determination and discussion.
Yeah, no items under determination discussion or the GM report, and at your places is the Speakers Bureau. With that, I'm done with my reports.
Can I ask a question? Do we get the water report at the next meeting?
The first water report will start, it starts in January.
Okay. Oh, in January. Okay.
Yeah, we can give you a year-end, well, yeah, we'll start in January, that's what we typically do.
All right, that moves us to committee reports. The minutes for the November 12th, 2024 Planning Committee meeting were provided in your agenda materials. The board met earlier this morning for the infrastructure workshop where staff provided a presentation on capital improvement program elements to address aging infrastructure, maintenance, reliability, climate change, adaptation, and regularly requirements to upgrade and maintain the water and wastewater system. The presentation also included a discussion of primary drivers of the district's infrastructure needs, highlights major projects for both water and wastewater systems. And we will now receive a report from this morning's Finance Administration Committee meeting.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance and Administration Committee met this morning and recommended the monthly investment transactions report that we approved on the consent calendar. We received the employee reimbursements of at least $100 for the last fiscal year, and we also received a report on the fiscal year 2024 audited financial statements.
All right, thank you, Director Katz. Please submit items for future consideration to the General Manager's office. Director comments.
Lisa? Can I give a report from the Board Ad Hoc Committee?
Sure, absolutely.
We have, as folks know, we're looking at bringing on a retreat facilitator for retreat that we're planning for early in 2025 to bring the new team together. We had, on the 21st, so last Thursday, the ad hoc committee, which included myself, Director Chan, and Director-elect Gomez, along with Secretary Risha Cole and our general manager and general counsel, interviewed supposed to be 4 firms, actually. One, who knows why, didn't appear. We are meeting right after this meeting to confer on the results and so hopefully select a facilitator for Clifford to make an offer to, since the amount is under his discretionary authority. So it doesn't need to come back to the board. So we'll be able to report at the next meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for your service. All right, any other director comments?
I do. Go ahead.
You know, I'm in the joyous part of the season, and I just wanted to say a happy Thanksgiving to all of the staff and board members and your families. I hope you have a wonderful time, and if you don't like bird, eat ham.
And vice versa, right?
All right. There are no other comments?
I actually do have a quick comment. I had the pleasure on Saturday of seeing this movie called Planet Walker. It is a short story. It's only about 20 minutes long. It's Oscar nominated, but it is about a friend of mine, Dr. John Francis, who's an environmentalist, and it chronicles his life. He saw an oil spill in the 1970s, and he decided to refuse all forms of combustion engine vehicles. And so he ended up walking across the United States, across South America. I think he's in Africa walking now. He's an interesting person. He's been in tribes that no modern person has been in. But this is basically about his story. He's also or was formerly a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador to environment communities. But this is somebody I've known for a long time, and so to see his evolution was so interesting. And in the end, he has decided, I mean, after all this experience working in Washington, D.C. on environmental policy, an interesting part of the story that I didn't know was that when he was invited to work in Washington, D.C., they said, well, can you take a plane here? And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. And they said, will you drive here? And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. And so he actually walked from California to Washington, D.C., and they had no idea when he was coming, and he just appeared one day. So anyway, but in the end, his philosophy after all this work in the environmental space was that everything comes down to kindness. Everything comes down to human kindness. So whereas before he was really talking a lot more about oil spills and environmental damage, now it's about human kindness. And if we can be kind to each other, then that would affect the universe. So anyway, this is, as I said, this film is up for an Oscar. I actually have these little flyers. You could also view it, I understand, after December 10th on Los Angeles Times website, as well as Bloomberg. They are both showing the film. Obviously, it's free. He's going to be actually in San Francisco next weekend. But anyway, I'd love to give these out to anyone who might be interested in seeing this short film. Thank you.
Thank you, April.
I have a couple.
Marguerite?
Yeah, two things. One is, following our last board meeting, I had the opportunity to present a resolution from EBMUD to the town of Moraga on the occasion of their 50th anniversary. And since it was a Wednesday night, it was just babysitting night, I had my two grandchildren in tow who were requested to appear with us in our group picture, but it was, they were very appreciative. I think we were the only special district to be recognizing them. And yeah, it was a nice evening. And then the second thing I wanted to bring up was that the employee, I think it'll still be up for viewing, but the employee art show is coming. I think it opens next week. And I will have 3 pieces showing in the exhibit, so, anyway,
cool.
a couple things.
Congratulations, Marguerite. All right, if there is nothing further, the next regular meeting of the EBMUD Board of Directors will be held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024 at 1:15 p.m. This meeting is now adjourned.